Gentlemen, gentlemen, gentlemen. I got a treat especial for you guys. This is a TecNine 16 pill. It's a beautiful amplifier. Now, what we do have to keep in mind is the customer has told me, he has warned me, he goes, BBI, that thing's got jet engines on it for fans. And I said, really? And I start looking at them. And they're like 3 amp Delta fans, man. These things are crazy. They should have enough schmoo in them to just darn near lift the cabinet off of the amp. Okay. I said, all right. He goes, well, there are just some fans that TecNine had laying around. This guy is my friend. I got nothing but love and respect for TecNine. Nothing but love and respect for him. Okay. The amplifier has power. Let's see what happens when we flip the big toggle switch. Well, that's not too bad. There is air literally coming out of every orifice on this cabinet. This is definitely something you'd want to have in the back of your truck, away from you. But you wouldn't have to worry about it overheating for the most part, as long as you operate it within a reasonable sense. This is too small of a plug, yo. This is 175 amp, 600 volt, Anderson power pole. Needs something more like this. Let's see, do I have? Yes, I do. I know I do. Maybe I don't. Yes, I do. For this to technically work, you need to have something more like this. This is a SH or SMH. 350 amp. I prefer the twist lock welding leads, but for today's purposes, we're going to leave this connector on there. My friend Thomas does beautiful work. Look at this. It's a matched set of 16 Toshibas. Non-red dots. Look at this thing. It's beautiful incarnate. Absolutely wonderful job, Thomas. It looks great. I'm not going to change or modify or do anything to this amp, and I don't have to. The only downside to this is I wish that this was a little bit thicker metal, the front and the back and the case, but it's thick enough to do the job, and it's worked for years and 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 years, him doing it this way. He hand makes everything, buys a phenolic, cuts it himself. It's actually thicker than the stuff that we normally use. There's a lot of good things going on inside this box. It is built in the old school ways by a man that is incredibly old school and kick-ass. I freaking love me TecNine amplifiers, I do. If I wasn't an amplifier builder and I had to have somebody build me some amps, I would probably go over and see my friend TecNine. And I'd ask Thomas to put me together an amp. His amps are very unique. They are not painted, they're not powder coated, they're held together with black gaffer's tape. This is tape on the front of this. So if you don't like how the face of this looks, call Thomas, he'll print you off a new label, you put some new gaffer's tape on it and you're done. It's the same thing with the cabinet lid. This is all gaffer's tape on this thing. Makes it very rugged. And, well, you can make it beautiful in just the rip of a gaffer's tape roll. On the back of this, we have our standard remote. Where the tip is hot, the return ring is the positive return for here. And then shield, ground. This RCA jack is how this foot pedal comes into play. You will find in the land of amplifiers that about the time you get to a 16 pill thereabouts, you want to get away from having an auto key circuit. And I call it the Emmanuel. You want to go to the Emmanuel form of keying, which in the long and the short means you step on a pedal, then you key your radio. And when you step on the pedal, what that does is it closes this relay. Ka-chunk. And then you key your radio. And that allows you to maintain the quality of your contacts inside of your relay. It's not drawing a huge arc in welding. If you think about it, when you send a little bit of excited signal from the radio and you go to your driver, because this requires a driver, I would probably say a 2-pill, maybe a 1x2, possibly a 4-pill, but nothing bigger than that. That energy for a second as the relay is going, and it's going from a connecting tab to connecting tab. It's not connected to anything. And when it breaks connection, because this is RF comes in, goes through, goes across this bar and out again to the antenna. When this thing auto keys, the only way it knows to key up is when there's signal coming into the amplifier. It says, woohoo, look at me, I got signal coming in. It charges up a transistor and it causes this relay to move. Well, most people, their driver's a couple hundred watts. Well, it arcs when it breaks the connection, and it arcs when it makes connection, because now the RF is going to run down those poles, take off and run around and go to the input circuit, and the amp's going to start being energized. Well, that happens at the speed of light, a whole lot faster than that relay's moving. That relay might move very quick to you and me, but in the land of RF, that's like in super slow motion, like. And every time you break those connections, it draws an arc. Just a little one, but those add up. It's like burning up the points on your car. So if you have a foot pedal plugged in and you mash on the gas pedal, you click, step on the pedal, then hit your microphone, the connection's already made at the amp. You're done listening. You're now going to transmit mode. So you're stepping on the gas pedal, click, bringing the amplifier online, and then you start talking. And it keeps you from burning this up. So I love the fact that this is a manual key. I will not add an auto key to this for you. Wherever you are, whoever ends up owning this thing. I will not do it. This is 16 matched Toshibas. There is a small fortune inside of this cabinet. A very small fortune. Never had a pill burned up, never been burned up. Which in today's day and age, any amplifier that you can make that statement about, kick ass. This is overbuilt in every way. This was built 3/28 of 2015. I know this because it's freaking printed on a label over here. This thing has never seen moisture. Some of the TecNines I've had come through here, the front faceplate, the back plate and the bottom of them, if they've been exposed to any kind of moisture, has rust. This is a rust-free thing. There's no rust on anything. Now, the back plate here might be made of aluminum. And the front plate might be made of aluminum, but this is made of galvanized steel. I have seen the fronts and the backs rust. That is not the case here today. This is a rust-free amplifier. I won't put the tin back on it. want to make it a little bit more structurally sound, and then I want to hook it up and I want to run it. I want to see what it does. So give me a minute and we're going to do just that. So okay, so that's a 1,000 watt slug in peak, 1,000 in average, 5 watt slug in reverse, back to reverse, 10,000 watt dummy load. Shocker, I know, because they never change. Let's turn this off first. Let's zoom in here a little bit. We're on 12 volts at the moment. Hello, audio. First thing I had to fix was the foot pedal. I had a wire come off on the inside of the head. So got that fixed. Now when you step on the foot pedal, so what we do is we step on the foot pedal, click, and we hit the microphone. 80 watts in equals 800 watts out. So now, let's go down here and let's bring our voltage up a little bit. Bring it up to about 14, 15. It's off the scale now, right? We've also come up to our 120 watts of drive. So we'll take it up to 2x now. So when that needle runs all the way to the corner, it has 2,000 watts. Audio. 1, 2. So now we're making 1,600 watts of power with 120 watts of drive. Well, let's take it up a little bit further. Let's grab the SR490 coax. This does 200 watts. This should easily get us over 2,000 watts, you'd think. Hello, 200 watts. Amp on, step on a pedal. Hello, audio. Hello, audio, hello. About 1,900 watts. I think we're going to need a little bit more drive. Well, thank God we live in the land of BBI over here. Let me go get us more drive. All right, Houston, we have more drive. Bench 2 pill, getting hit by the striker. This is in the 1X position. Let's go over here. Let's take ourselves a look for her. Hello, audio. 600 watts peak, right? So let's check this out. Now we'll go to 2X. Turn on the 16 pill. Gone. 1,000 bird, no problem. Now we're going to go down to 5X. So now we're reading that bottom scale. Hello, audio, 1, 2. Making almost 3,000 watts of power, 500 watts of drive. Too bad. Of course, we haven't volted nothing yet. Hello, audio. Hello, audio. 3,000 watts on a 2 pill. It's not bad at all for what it is. So obviously this thing works just fine. You just got to put a little bit more drive in it. Like a 4 pill. Getting hit with a 100 watt radio. This thing works like a champ. I bet you do 4,000 watts. The point is, none of it's broken. All the transistors in this thing work fine, and I keep flipping the fan on and off like, sorry, it's just me standing with my head a foot away from this thing, and the microphone not being that far away either. I think you guys can appreciate why. And people wonder why I wanted to have the connectors on that power supply strip over there. Smooth and no teeth. Because it makes quick disconnect in an emergency absolutely possible. So this is the dd-2000. I like it. That's what we're going to do. The customer has got this for sale for $4,000, and I'll say $4,000 or best offer. These are the new HP supplies that everybody's all excited about that do 100 amps apiece. I, free of charge, am going to throw in 4 switchers that have been modified to sit at 15 volts for you to run this amplifier off of. So you can take your 400 amp supply and walk away. You can resell the switchers, or if you choose to try and run this as a base, provide these 220 volts apiece. You'll have, and then tie them all together like I've shown in many YouTube videos at this point. And you'll have yourself basically a brand new dd-2000. It does about 3,500 to 4,000 watts. You guys know the drill by now. First one to call, first one to write, first one to turn on the bat signal, first one to text, first one to make my phone ring. Gets it. $4 plus a ride. Gentlemen, I am BBI, and yet another wonderful creation by our mutual friend, TecNine. I'll see you. Click, click.